over 70,000 crowd, dominated mainly by a huge range of support that stretches two-thirds of the way round the ground, and a very healthy Aberdeen support to the right-hand side, which you'll see, I'm sure, in due course. And the players, I'm always convinced on this occasion, this is something they do not like, the preliminaries. There's the Aberdeen support. And Hampden erupting now. As I said, this great sense of anticipation is now developing into the real thing as we await the presentation party. I was out on the pitch both yesterday and earlier this morning, and although it's taken a lot of rain overnight, it is in very good condition indeed. It will be slightly heavy. Well, that was brief, thankfully. And the referee, George Smith, goes to the centre circle. That is with Snelders, the Dutch goalkeeper. Ali McLeod is with me, and quite amused by that.
I think that was unusual. The goalkeeper wanted to get a feel of the ball, and the referee and him had a little bit of struggle. In the end, the goalie didn't get it. Very unusual, that. They usually let the goalie get it just before the game.
Well, in case you did not hear or see the team announcements, let me run down them. Aberdeen, firstly, in goal, of course, the man we've just been talking about, Theo Snelders, and Stuart McKimmie at fullback, along with young David Robertson. Neil Simpson is in midfield, Alec McLeish and Willie Miller, Jim Bent, Robert Corner, David Dodds and Hewitt. That's a team with no less than 9 holders of League Cup medals. And against the background of that huge range of support, the Rangers side today, all of these men have been bought into Ibrox. The only players who have yet to win anything at all, John Brown, Kevin Drinkle and Mark Walters. The referee today, as I said, George Smith, who had the cup final as well, Scottish Cup final, rated by many as the top referee in the country. And listening to the discussions before the game, I honestly do not think that the incidents of 2 weeks ago at Pittodrie will bear largely on the minds of these players. I think there's been far too much publicity given to what actually happened. And there's a great responsibility lying on the shoulders of the players. They are not just playing in front of a 75,000 crowd. This game will be seen throughout the world. Scottish football is on a huge stage, and behaviour will certainly count. And so, the curtain almost about to rise on this, the 43rd League Cup final. Rangers starting the match. As I said, the pitch is in immaculate condition. There can be no complaints at all about that. Picked up immediately by Bet. I think you'll find Bet making very interesting runs down that right side. That's a goal kick. Jim Bet, who's always been a very studious player, a thinker in the game, and unfortunately far too many people in the past haven't appreciated the way he's played and his influence on a match. Chris Woods, who did not play, of course, in the game last year. Strong header there by Robert Corner. Aberdeen with very neat possession. Here's Corner. It's a very good run indeed. Well, he certainly had the confidence to have a right go at that Rangers defence. This is the way he drove forward. There wasn't any great strength in the shot, however. I think Chris Woods would love to see that ball nestling in his arms. Free kick to Rangers. There's Willie Miller at the back, steady as ever, great positional sense. Well, the Rangers' big man had gone forward, which left John Brown at the back, and he swept that up very neatly indeed. The usual kind of apprehensive start, and for a man of very great experience like Gary Stevens there, that was a rather unusual mistake, indicative of the pressure. It's very good tackling, away goes Ferguson. Simpson goes with him, looking for a little bit of support. Ferguson, Ali, is very good at runs from midfield.
I think there was very noticeable that Simpson seemed a little bit hesitant to make a tackle. I think once he makes his first tackle, he's got over the crowd already.
The tackling, sharp. Nobody is being allowed to settle, and for Neil Cooper there, nostalgic, of course, being back amongst red and white supporters, but playing against them this time. Ball from Ray Wilkins. Stevens. There's Drinkle. Excellent tackle by Willie Miller. Now, Walters. Trying to go for it himself. Referee waving play on. The break by Hewitt. Unconventional, came off the chest, and the referee said that was all right. Yes, Ferguson took off. Oh, it's no offside. Drinkle. And there is this time. Well, Drinkle was not in an offside position, but the run forward by McCoist was. We're actually getting a little blink of sunshine, would you believe?
That was instructions from the side there from Rangers. That was instructions to Wilkins to get in onto Simpson. They decided to go for skill against Simpson. They just moved Ferguson onto corner.
Throw to Aberdeen. Nicholas wanting a 1-2, good tackling. Simpson. McKinney. Offside, linesman with a flag up. Charlie Nicholas, who scored that goal at Pittodrie, loves a big occasion like this, Charles. Won't be affected at all by nerves. Driven forward in this Villa, that great sentinel of Aberdonian football. Dodds, Simpson. We are, of course, seeing two sides who are extremely well organised in defence.
Yes, it must be the longest there's been a game without one foul. There's not been one foul in the game since it started, which really is unusual, in a cup final particularly.
Might be a kind of air of unreality there. Woof. Well, the Rangers defence looked across to the linesman, but David Dodds, when he started his run, was well onside. That was a good decision by the linesman. And the referee deciding that Ali McCoist had backed into the defender. I don't know whether he's holding his wrist or his elbow, or maybe even a displaced finger. Straight to Stevens. Yes, Stevens to Drinkle. Almost went through, no hands. Well, the linesman did not see that. The referee certainly did. There's poor Wally, I suppose you could call him, up in Aberdeen. Right in the centre of the picture, dictating everything. Everything revolves round him. Not such a good free kick, though. Goff. Here's Brown. Plays it wide and curls it in. Walters. Rangers get the corner. Walters himself will take this. Gary Stevens was calling for it, but they're trying that run. There's Brown! And nobody covered Brown. Well, this was an entirely free run into the penalty area. Swung in. Now watch Brown's run forward. Nobody marking him. He was in front of defenders. That's a cardinal sin, Ali.
Yes, and it's very unusual. First time I've seen Aberdeen for really in a big game for a long time, but every player was back in the penalty area there. Everyone, you know, and I think at times it's a wee bit too much defensive there.
But some very good tackling in midfield. This could be a danger man, Ian Ferguson, and he's been very closely marked by Connor there. Oh, round it goes. There's Walters. That's not a bad ball. McKinney. He really does put over the most fetching crosses.
Oh,
it was not just from the crowd, but from Ali McCoy's there. Corner kick. Look at this delightful little chip of his. Weighted perfectly. And that was all McKinney could do. Walters again. Brown. There was no room. Yes, I think Hewitt had been pushing to get or keep possession, and Rangers get the free kick. Ray Wilkins about to take this. We have Terry Butcher almost at the penalty spot. Brown. That looked like a deflection. It was indeed. Rangers turning the screw at the stage with about 10 minutes gone. Now this came to Brown, who was again in the free, just off the top of the head of Alec McLeish. He did the right thing, and that was cruelly deflected. Brown again, and everybody back for Aberdeen. Cooper! Well, the ex-Aberdeen player deciding that if he did it in the previous game, he might as well try from that distance again. He kept his balance, and he didn't lash out at it. He tried to keep it down, but just got under a little bit too much. Butcher. No, whenever Willie Miller misses it, or in reverse McLeish, one or the other always steps in. That's good combination, Ali.
Yeah, with a tremendous partnership. They just started just before I left Aberdeen, and they've been together. They are the backbone of really Scottish football at the moment.
Cooper. Trotter Rangers. Oh, McCoy's judged the throw very well. Here's Walters. Stevens, Ferguson. Rangers fanning out. Ferguson needs a chip across, and Walters from 3 yards. A really magnificent piece of play by Ferguson here. He decided to take the man on once, twice, And then watch the drive, to the wrong side of Walters. Looked like a bad miss, but that was awkward. Goal kick. Good move by Ferguson, Ali.
Oh, that's the ball. That's the most dangerous ball in football. And Walters was unfortunate. He was just in a fraction too much. It was a magnificent ball. And at the moment, Rangers are far more adventuresome, throwing far more men forward than Aberdeen.
Nicholas, yard offside. And for all the Rangers' pressure, after 12 minutes, there's still no scoring. That's a free kick.
I think the game so far actually has shown the philosophy of the two managers. The Aberdeen manager is a great believer that if you don't lose goals, you don't lose championships. And to me, Aberdeen have been very defensive today.
Ferguson running into trouble. Wanted to play the ball a bit too much himself. And there's Brown again. John Brown, the definitive utility player, with Dundee played virtually everywhere, barring goal. He may even have done that. Butcher. It's a little too much for Walters. Well, there's Mark Walters. He's the player that most people coming to any game now watch a piece of entertainment. The goalkeeper making a dreadful blunder. That is a penalty. Drinko brought down. Quite astonishing piece of suicide there by the Aberdeen defence. This is how it came about. Back to the goalkeeper. What a tight ball to give him. And now getting into bother here. Drinko going after it. Ooh, that was very close indeed, but the referee says penalty kick. And so 14 minutes gone. Harry McCoy's to take the penalty for Rangers. And the referee trying to get the Aberdeen goalkeeper settled. Ball not quite on the spot. Always a nerve-wracking experience for a player at any time, but in the cup final, the Dutch goalkeeper to face Ali McCoy. He's done it. One-0 for Rangers. Total suicide by the Dutch goalkeeper. And this was the clinical way that McCoy decided to put Rangers in front. Ali.
Oh, it was a terrible throw-in, but the goalkeeper made a right mess of it. It's just a tragedy for Aberdeen the way they lost it, but I think the game at the moment, Rangers are by far the better side.
And Rangers wishing to put pressure still on. There looks as if some of the crowd are spilling out of the terracing. I think it's just a little minor skirmish, but it did catch your eye. The right-hand side terracing. I think some of where the supporters are mixed. I think the police have gone in and tried to separate them. Strong header by Robertson. Oh, a good run by Bet. O'Brien did that very well. He glided with tremendous ease and wrong-footed Bet, who's a very cunning player, I may say. Not easily taken on like that. Walters brought down.
Right, okay.
I don't know whether it'll be a booking or just a reprimand. Well, the referee, in fact, has his book out. Young lad David Robertson. We were talking about Robertson earlier, Ali. He's a superb young player, but you know, in defence sometimes he can be a little bit rash.
Yeah, well, I think that was a rash tackle. That was the first one in which there's really been any need for the referee. I think it's a wee bit harsh to book him. I think he should just have given them a warning.
But the name is in the book for that tackle there. Free kick to Rangers. Willie Miller. Cornell did very well indeed. Dent on that run again on the right. Here's McKimmie. Just touched away by Butcher, who committed himself very early indeed. And I think since that goal, Ali, Aberdeen have realised they've got to come at Rangers a little bit.
Well, there's more men now in the Rangers half there's been all game. And it's about time they started doing it, because you don't win cup final sitting back.
Gary Stevens, bowling instructions there. A lot of shouting goes on the field, of course. Eric McLeish, just in play. Ferguson. And the referee didn't like the tackle. That's a free kick. A little bit of edge creeping in. We do not expect football to be played with carpet slippers. There's got to be commitment out of it.
Right, I think initially it was a bit false because both teams were just hanging back. But now with the nitty-gritty, we're getting down to nitty-gritty and they're getting the tackles in. And that's what football's about.
Corner. Neil Cooper at the back. That's a very good ball. Drew out the Rangers goalkeeper and just above the heads of the central defenders. John Hewitt. I think McLeish has gone up with Willie Miller. Here we are, Willie Miller, number 6, will come in and they try the short one. Ian Ferguson at the post. Charlie Nicholas. Charlie Nicholas suffering a little bit of toothache this morning when he arrived at the ground. "20 minutes gone, Aberdeen with the corner kick, and that's the equaliser. Dodds. David Dodds right in position for Aberdeen. A cross ball totally missed by the Rangers defence. This was a corner, and watch the commitment by both the goalkeeper, central defenders, and David Dodds snatches it in. Not an easy chance, I may say. Seemed to come off the thigh, but the old count.
A terrible mistake with the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper came for it, completely missed it by 2 yards, and it hit Dodds in the thigh. A real nightmare start for both goalkeepers. I was going to say...
Stevens gives that away. Here's Cooper. Willie Miller did that very well. Really, he loves cup finals. Plays at his very best at Hamlet Park, Willie Miller. I think a free kick for the tackle from the rear, and there's no use complaining about that. Free kick to Aberdeen. Here's Stewart. The other attacking player with him, and a very good tackle by Walters. Wingers not noted for their ability to tackle like that. And Aberdeen have come right out of the shell that was described by Ali as quite unusual in the cup final, and having a right go at Rangers, and it's paid off for them. Dent, not given time to settle. Here's Drinkle, now Wilkins. Opens it out wide, Neil Cooper. Brown, there's Cooper. Wilkins, Ferguson, superb play. Walters, another inviting ball, the goalkeeper didn't come. Oh, Bent, superb play by Bent. Goff to Ferguson. Walters. Get the free kick for that. It's a little bit harsh, I think. I think Walters made a slight kneel of that. And the referee acknowledges it. It's not a free kick, it's a throw. Butcher. Hard in on Nicholas. Just about 25 minutes of the first half gone. It's one each. A much more competitive game now. Aberdeen weathered an initial storm. They lost a crazy goal, or the origin of it was crazy, and they have fought back. And from this parity, you get the impression that Aberdeen are growing in confidence. Rangers still sending these high balls into the heart of the Aberdeen defence, who are noted for coping with that sort of service. Here's Drinkle. Well, the referee had to very quickly come between the two players, and it was getting a little bit edgy there. Lecture from the referee, and I think they've got to play hard, but they're quite aware of the spotlight on this game this afternoon. Off the back of the head of Butcher, but Brown is there. Not the best of clearances, that's a gift. Free kick. Without any question. Drinkle not too anxious to shake a hand there. 26 minutes gone of the first half. Aberdeen 1, Rangers 1. Stevens with time to bring that down. Drinkle, beautiful move. He tries to put it in, and the two of them miss it. Quite astonishing. Again, an extremely lethal ball. And again, the Aberdeen goalkeeper looked quite transfixed. Now, he made this for himself. I just watched the goalkeeper stood there, and I think he might just have got a touch away.
Yeah, these are the dangerous balls. The balls in the air, Aberdeen are just gobbling them up, but the ones hammered across is causing all sorts of problems.
Willie Miller. Shaking his head ruefully about that. He would criticise anybody else for doing that. Ali McCoy's absolutely no chance of getting onto the end of that very long pass. There's Brown. Ferguson. Tries to lay it off, the hoist. There's a chip by Walters. Well, I think that was a very intelligent finish. Others may have been tempted to lash out at that. But seeing that wall of defenders so close to him, he decided on a very quick chip. See there, it broke to him. Wall of players, and look at the way he tried to dig under it and lift it over.
Walters has got all the room in the world here, and no one picked him up at all. But the ball doesn't seem to be going. Wilkins is not controlling the game at all. Simpson's handling him very, very competently.
Here's Walters, and I think an arm used. Free kick to Aberdeen. David Robertson to take it. Bet. Good control. Gary Stevens, and in came Cooper. Just got rid of that. A lot of mistakes being made here, and that was a deflection. Neil Cooper, along with Ray Wilkins, hasn't been seen all that much in this game. Hewitt. Aberdeen putting the passes together much, much better. That shows you confidence. They wanted to play it around, keep possession, get somebody in an empty position. That's a brilliant ball by Willie Miller. Bent. It goes free, and there is Ferguson. Connor. Oh, Aberdeen are a different team now, Ali.
Yes, they're throwing everyone up into attack, and they're only keeping the 2 and 3 men back. It's now a good game because both teams are throwing everything up. Very sportingly played as well.
And that was Connor's shot. David Dodds again, not all that far away. Well, the referee, I think, very rightly is hammering the tackle from the rear very hard. The illegal tackle, I may say. Just get the impression that some Rangers players are feeling the audacity of Aberdeen coming back and equalising. I think they're affected by that. Aberdeen now should try to exploit that.
Here's another chance. Yes, I think that Aberdeen have surprised themselves more than anything how easily they've got back into the game. And they were both terrible goals, really, to lose. And they're throwing now everything, and it's accurate passing by Aberdeen.
And the corner to Aberdeen. Gary Stevens, I think, may have been complaining about something, and he has given the sternest of warnings. Jim Beck taking plenty time about this. Play by Butcher, but not out of the danger zone. ball seemed to be well behind him when he caught it, Ali.
It was a dangerous one, but he seemed to come out just slightly too far. Whether the wind's been troublesome down there, very difficult. From here it looks all right.
And Aberdeen certainly in the ascendancy against a very flat-looking Rangers side at the moment. Offside. But look at the way that Bet have made that run. He's one of the best in the game at suddenly coming forward very quickly and exposing a defence. Just about a stride offside, though. Here's Stevens. Taken very easily there by David Robertson. He's settled into his task now despite having been booked early on. Ferguson. Miller did the right thing. Christ. Stevens. Miller once again there. This is Ferguson. Did well to get that in. Stevens did the right thing, following up. Obviously went through his mind that something might just break to him.
I think Rangers have done their homework. They've decided to hit no high balls into the box, and they're playing everything across low, and it's causing problems when they do it. Unfortunately, Walters is not getting to the game yet. He's decided to depart to the left side of the field now.
Which is a credit to the way Aberdeen have organised the defence and marked this man. There's Goff. Drinkle. That will be a free kick. Aberdeen players didn't like that, Willie Miller in particular. And I really am rather surprised now that there's dissent. I'm not at all surprised by the way the game's being played on the top, as it were, but dissent seems to be suicide, considering the build-up to this game.
It's stupid, you know, but it's in his nature, Dodge, to argue. You get nowhere with doing it.
Free kick to Rangers. There's Walters. Richard Goff is there and just out of touch. Predetermined ploy to get this big fellow into the penalty area, to get up high and head it down back the way for somebody running in. Exactly 10 minutes to half-time, the game very evenly balanced. Well, that was a sheer accident. But it is a foul. And really that's Bet is perhaps having as big an influence at the moment. I mean, his runs, the way he's pushing the ball around. At this stage, Rangers don't have anybody doing that, and one would have expected Wilkins, as you suggested earlier, Ali, to be fulfilling that role. Free kick. Ferguson. Down the line, beautiful piece of play again. Drinkle. I think the goal kick's been given. Well, he must have dragged the ball over the line. Well, the goalkeeper is having some repairs done to him. I'm not... Well. Oh, that's a risk. Can't be all that bad. Or is it just the glove that had come loose? Perhaps that's it. Goff Slightly misjudged that. Trinkle. Hewitt. Willie Miller superbly. I'm saying he relishes this sort of game. Robertson. And trying to cut off players in midfield, both sides, before they can make long runs like that. It's bent. Followed right across field by Neil Cooper. Cooper watching him very closely. Trying for the long one. Well, David Dodds almost got the touch there. I would have thought there was a bit of pushing going on. So let's watch this again. Very good throw. Oh, it was a touch by Dodds, and the Rangers goalkeeper on that very quickly. Aberdeen. Much, vastly improved side, no less. And having said that, Willie Miller makes his first mistake of the afternoon, but certainly a vastly improved side from the one we saw in the first 15 minutes. I don't think the floodlights are on at Aberdeen Park. It's getting extremely gloomy. I don't know whether that's reflected in your picture back home or not. Don't turn the candles on yet. Run forward by Stevens. Ferguson trying to follow up, and good defensive work as usual by Hewitt. Well, that was a wasted ball. And the referee waving play on, although I think Dodds was pulling back at Butcher.
I think he played the advantage role. It was more advantageous to Rangers to let it go through to Woods. And the moment Aberdeen are completely in control for the last 15 minutes.
Butcher. Walters. Being marked very closely. As soon as he got the ball, he was closed down by 3 men. Out to Walters. Simpson. Well taken by Brown. Just a bit too obvious, that play by Rangers. Here's Butcher. Puts his left foot to action to great effect. Here's Walters. High and mighty, and nobody there for Rangers. Ball still in play. Just under 5 minutes to half-time. Ali. I think they must have heard us talking about the lights. They are certainly now on. The shadows appearing. One of these from Ian Ferguson. Oh, that was bent at the end of that. If he'd got through now, John Brown to Walters. Hardly seen him in this game. Flicker of him in the first half, in the first 15 minutes. Connor. Here's Butcher. To Wilkins. That's meant for Stevens, but it's too strong. Draw to Aberdeen. Breaks to Cooper. Still in play, Robertson. Charlie Nicholas. Bad ball by Nicholas. It clears way to the right side of him. Simpson. Connor. Looking for a 1-2 here. David Dodds. Well, an edgy-looking Rangers defence, I must say, with outstanding players there. Their calibre of experience. There's a tension about them now, Ali.
Yeah, I think the Aberdeen midfield's playing absolutely magnificently. Beck, Connor and Simpson are absolutely magnificent at the moment. And in Rangers' team, their midfield's a complete shambles at the moment.
Charlie Nicholas not at all happy about that decision, but the play goes on. Wilkins. We're hearing the Aberdeen supporters now. Offside. And there is the very happy-looking bunch from Aberdeen. Pouring their heart out to this man in particular, Willie Miller, the captain. Drinko closing down very quickly. Easy one for Stevens, but nobody there for Rangers. Willie Miller. Now, Walters, a little bit of freedom this time. Bit too obvious. Didn't seem to want to change his direction at all, and that's what he's so good at, of course. That's a goal kick. Some Rangers players think it was a corner. McKimmie showing a little bit of skill and confidence. We make it about a minute to half-time. John Brown totally deceived by that one. But Butcher covers. Trying to find Drinkle. Alec McLeish goes with that. Oh, he got rid of that very well. Stevens, well off that. Now, Jim Beck. Aberdeen have set numbers here, and that's good defensive work there by Ferguson. Really fought back well. And there goes the half-time whistle. Well, Rangers, the favourites for this final, and who took the lead under extraordinary circumstances, and then being pinned back by Aberdeen and that equaliser by David Dodds, are looking very shaky at this stage. And this is the man who transformed his side by getting that snatched equaliser. Aberdeen certainly finishing the more powerful side of it, I thought, Ali.
Yes, I think Rangers were the first 15 minutes, Rangers dominated it, and then Aberdeen, once they went one behind, suddenly decided we're here to make up, not to make up the numbers, to possibly win it.
And they certainly ended that first half on a very high note indeed. Silenced the Rangers support, who had been very buoyant early on. And Ali McLeod, question marks about Rangers' central defence made there.
Yes, I agree with Jim Craig that I don't think two stoppers is the ideal central defence. I think that's what's wrong with British football at the moment. They would think the centre half should be two six-footers who win the ball, when in fact I believe that the two centre halves should be ball players. But I wouldn't agree with Alan Ferguson that there are underrated central defence. I think Rangers' defensive record speaks for itself.
The massive throng at Hampden Park about to see the start of the second half. The game, as Ali McLeod said, the first 15 minutes had an air of unreality about it. A kind of not wishing to touch anybody. And now that's all changed, and that is a superb ball to Ali McCoist. Here's Cooper. Drinkle. Well underneath that. Kevin Drinkle, one of the few players on the park, as I said at the start, not in possession of a winner's medal, or a medal of any kind. There's Groff. Walter's gone back to the right wing position. Stevens is there, but so also is the Rangers goalkeeper. I think the Rangers goalkeeper was as much to blame for that Aberdeen goal as anybody standing in front of him, to be honest.
Yes, neither keepers actually had a save. They both had one or two drastic mistakes, but I'm sure Woods will blame himself for that goal.
Now Walters. Robertson with him, he does get his cross in again. And offside that time. It's been a hard match between these two. Alec McLeish, Kevin Drinkle. Bit of explanation between McKimmie and Willie Miller, and I'm sure that McKimmie will soak up anything that Willie has to say to him. Goff breaking. Here's John Brown. That's not a bad ball. Look at the way that Miller took that superbly again. The most difficult ball for the defender to get to. I really have, through the years, run out of praise for this man. But I don't think I overdo it, frankly.
Well, the amazing thing, actually, he's not fast, he's not a good kicker of the ball, he's not a good header of the ball in the air, but he's still a great player.
Well, that's beautifully round. There's Drinkle, and that's a corner. That was a neat piece of play indeed by McCoist and Drinkle. And I really think that's the first time in the game we've seen any combined move between them. He's playing a little bit of composed football, and it almost came off. Walters with a corner. No real challenge to Theo Snelders, who can only grow in confidence in this game. He was very nervous early on. Cooper, Drinkle. Goff not quite there. Stevens. Nicely played by Aberdeen in that tight position. And Goff picks up, and I think Goff has the appetite to come forward now. Here's a man who is really supposed to make Rangers kick. Wilkins hasn't quite done that. That has been a long way short of the anticipated form. Cooper. Here's Brown. There's Drinkle. Brown's inside. Ali McCoist is there. He tries to touch it round. Little bit of curl would have done. Didn't quite come off. Clever effort this by Ali McCoist, Ali.
Yes. Yes, he's the one that could turn the game. I would like to see Rangers switch Wilkins and Cooper if I was the Rangers manager, and put the hard man onto the hard man and the skillful man onto Bet. And I think Wilkins would operate then with far more control than he's doing.
Well, Mark Walters thrown to the ground there. I think he perhaps put too much work in the ball to start off with, but he gets the free kick. And now John Brown. Wilkins. Poised. Almost gets it, and nobody following up for Rangers. And they're starting the second half the way they played that opening phase in the first. Really going at Aberdeen, playing some very good football.
Possibly the Aberdeen team talk at half-time is to get through the opening 10 minutes, get their confidence and then come.
That's a very clever throw by Ferguson. Wilkins. And Walters didn't start his run for some odd reason. Very slow taking off indeed. I thought that was a clever intention of Wilkins, suddenly switching the play like that. Goff strongly in. Walters will be marked very tightly again. Two men with him. Aberdeen almost Walters conscious, realising the great potential of this player. Said no freedom. Ferguson. Pure slip. Well, I think John Hewitt was probably looking upfield for somebody. Took his eye right off that ball. I think Rangers will get a free kick for that. 7 minutes of the second half gone. Butcher goes up for this as well. And there's Goff, and I don't think anybody touched it at all. But Richard Goff, I think, will be coming forward more and more in this game, and whatever position he does play, he has scored many a fine goal in the opponent's penalty area through his career. Haven't really seen all that much of Aberdeen so far, with about 8 minutes gone. I thought Gary Stevens has been very unsure of himself today, Ali.
Yes, he's normally one of the players who you would expect to be coming down and linking up with Walters, but he's kicked more balls out the park, and I'm a high regard for Stevens. I think he's a tremendous player normally, but today he's been very disappointing.
Here's Cooper. Played it round well, although I think Ferguson was screaming for the ball initially. Stevens. There's Drinko. Very good move though by Rangers. They switched directions, and Stevens' ball wasn't all that far away from meeting Drinko flush on the forehead. Good jumping. He did as well as he possibly could. He was really pressurized. Butcher tries to find Walters. Here's Ferguson. To McCoy. Seeing a lot more of Rangers now.
I think one of the problems for Rangers is that the left side of the field is non-existent. It's only when Walters moves over do we get anything from it at all. Earlier on, John Brown was attacking, but at the moment there's no one operating this left side, and Aberdeen by now, every time they get the ball, they can give it to McKimmie.
Throw to Aberdeen. Alec McLeish in the wars. Only sudden death will stop him from taking any further part. There's Stevens to Walters. Well, the one thing, Walters hasn't really got going except for that burst early in the first half, but he is at least absorbing defenders. They're having to go across to him. Yes, Ferguson was a brilliant goal. Two-one for Rangers. And the man who cost £1 million to bring to Rangers, showing a little bit of the quality that attracted Souness and others in the first place. Absolutely no chance for Theo Skelders to save this one. A very awkward ball to take, Ali.
But no, an opportunist goal. That's what it's all about. It's a tremendous goal.
And that pressure that Rangers put on earlier has paid off. It's been a very unusual game. It's fluctuated according to the goals scored. Rangers very good until they scored with a penalty. Aberdeen coming back, and now Rangers in the lead again, to the delight of this huge throng of red, white and blue. McKimmie attacking. Could Aberdeen get in right away? No, they can't. Richard Goff comes clear. And Goff, look at this, Aberdeen. Stevens, with a wide open down the middle. Now Walters. Whoa! You knew he was going to let fly with that. And one wonders about Walters if he begins to flourish as a player when the pressure goes off his side, Ali.
Yes, I think what's happened, again, Aberdeen there started to throw all their men forward and has given more room to Walters. I think when early on in the game, when Aberdeen had 9 men back, there wasn't much room. But as you say, the longer the game goes and Rangers get better, Walters will flourish all right.
Touched by Ferguson, now Walters again. Beautiful ball to the outside, Stevens. Brown. That's Brown. Now through to McCoist. It's not far away. Well, that might have swerved in at the last second because Snelders looked extremely casual about what was going to happen there. Watch him. And he turned and oh no, the stanchion at the back. Well over. Goff is up. Cleveland. Brown. Well, actually, I think Brown made a meal of that. If he'd stood where he was, the ball would have fallen off his chest to his feet.
I think the wind sprung up quite considerably.
Not half, Ali.
Rangers.
Commentary notes are away.
And Rangers half. Two Rangers.
Here's Stewart. Brown is up there and quite happy to concede a corner, which lifts the Aberdeen supporters again. Vital for them to strike back as quickly as they did in the first half. Jim Bett. And McCoist is in, now Walters is on his own. That will be a free kick. quite right to challenge for the ball, and Willie Miller ought not really to be taking on the referee. Drinkel and McCoy's going for that. There was no shouting. Simpson. Ferguson. Butcher with his wrong foot. Walters. Free kick. With just over 15 minutes of the second half gone, Rangers leading by 2-1. We're around the outside to get Drinkel again, but there's too much in that. Well, these players who were so valuable and productive for Aberdeen in the first half in midfield, Connor, Bet, and Hewitt coming back deep, they've really got to position again, Ali.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to start getting more players up the field.
Here's Ali McCoy's. So 1 against 1, beautifully tackled again. There's McCoy's, and the Aberdeen defence really are on the rack now.
Rangers are putting more effort into it now and starting to win all the tackles. Aberdeen are just getting brushed aside.
Here's Brown. It's McLeish. Charlie Nicholas did that brilliantly. Here's Bet. There's Dodds, and that's in the equaliser. A brilliant goal by Dodds. A superb run by Bet. What an amazing match this is! Oh, brilliant run here by Bet. Look at that ball, and David Dodds as handy as ever. Dodds managing to get himself out of cover, and Woods left stranded. 2 each. Bet's value, Ali.
Oh, right. Bet to me is the outstanding player for Aberdeen, but the picking up with the Rangers defence between the goalkeeper and the right back and centre half was terrible.
Aberdeen fighting back as he did in that first half and indicating this game is far from over.
You feel if Aberdeen had played that way throughout, they could have won the game quite comfortably. It's every time they go down, they start playing.
Towering ball by Woods. And backing into Robertson, into McKimmie rather. Free kick. To Stevens. Ferguson to Walters. And there's nobody there for Rangers. Would you believe? A superb run, a beautifully flighted cross, and the two strikers that got in too far.
There's neither team now get the ascendancy going from end to end.
And he's being caught much too easily now. Aberdeen fastening down then, and Wilkins. Here's McLeish. Walters. Ferguson. Just a bit too obvious. And that, I think, had just gone over. Exactly 20 minutes gone, 2 each. Ian Ferguson, the scorer of that second Rangers goal. An impressive view of Hampden Park. We're just at the top of that picture, underneath the press box. Cooper. Sort of lull on the game at the moment. As if they're each taking a deep breath.
It's a brave man that forecasts the winner now.
Here's Cooper on a drive, a little bit short with that. Throw to Aberdeen. Midway through the second half. Butcher. Stevens. To Drinkle. And I think a booking for that. Yes, that challenge is going to end up with a booking. Robert Corner. His name goes in the book. Yes, you would have to pin somebody against the wall with a revolver and say, "Now, come on, give me your prediction," or else you don't give it here, do you?
No, right. It's actually a very exciting game. They're sitting here wondering who's going to score next.
Well, I did say at the start, I have to be honest, I didn't expect the high-scoring game that there was the last time they played for various reasons. It's difficult to recreate exactly what happened the last time, and because of the game at Pittodrie, now we're ending up with this.
Yes, I think there's a few more still to come.
So, free kick to Rangers. Looks like Walters is taking this. Now Cooper. Way to that far side, and Robertson was there. I think a booking for that. Ali?
I think it was slightly harsh. It was a foul, but Ferguson was running in and the other lad was going backwards. I don't honestly think it was worth a booking. I didn't think Connors was a moment ago either. I think they were both fouls, but they weren't really worth bookings.
And this was it. Challenge there, and a very late one when you see it again, though.
The amazing thing is neither goalkeepers had really a great save to make.
Probably just as well they haven't been put under any great pressure. They don't look all that great today. English looking good, and Aberdeen fighting very hard. .20 minutes of the game left. Connor. He did that beautifully and passes to nobody. Now here. That was meant for Ali McCoy's Miller covering. And that goes out in a very good defensive clearance. Look at this. Beautiful work here by Connor at his very best. He cut it too far back. Mark Hughes was running out of options there.
His final pass wasn't of the best, but the skill was brilliant.
That should go right through to Snelders. Stevens, now Ferguson on the run. Beautiful run by Ferguson, well covered by the Aberdeen defence. Brown, Walters. And no offside. The Aberdeen defenders came out and the ball swirling past them. There is a bit of a wind out there now, and I think it's swirling round. Here's McKimmie. Well, the referee's saying he had ducked for that. And dangerous play, I can only assume.
Yeah, it's amazing how they always give it one way, and you always think it should be the other way.
Quickly taken. Ooh, that's brilliantly put in by Simpson. Almost caught Woods out. He had come off his line and Neil Simpson quite brilliantly tried to chip him. He just eased up to it. Corner kick. Fine move by the Aberdeen midfield player. And ultimately a very good save. McLeish is up. Goal kick. Charlie Nicholas, I think he quite accidentally had a knock on that foot as he went for it. Haven't seen much of Charlie, but you really don't need to see much of Charlie in the game. Here he was in it here, tried to swing round in that. As I say, give him half a chance and he can score a winner, Ali.
Yeah, he's that type of player. He's had two amazing runs today, but you haven't seen much of him.
Once again, Miller up very well. Neil Cooper fighting for it here, and the throw to Rangers. I think the linesman was right in the first place. He changed his mind. It's very much a stalemate, and maybe a mistake, or perhaps even better, a touch of greatness from somebody or other could turn this game.
I'm sure neither goalkeeper will have been happy with the performance today.
Here's Wilkins. Brown. Butcher. That's a useful ball, but cut off almost. Now Walters. And just behind that time. He's been very closely marked. Thought he might just get a little bit of freedom that time. "15 minutes remaining. That's the scoreline. Good jumping by David Dodds. And that's a superb ball by Nicholas. And Butcher, quite happy to concede another corner kick. Seeing his goalkeeper was not wishing to come out for that. And Rangers have certainly been none too happy with these cross balls, which is extremely surprising, considering the calibre of the men they have in there and their experience. Very nervy clearance again by the English internationalist. And away goes Goff, the break by Rangers. No, he overdid it. He was too anxious to rush forward there. That's a free kick. Connor has had a very fine match. He's distributed the ball very well. His individual skills have been a delight. And there's Brown. Walters. To Drinkle. Referee waving play on. McKinney. To Bet. Well, normally you would say in a cup final the team that would score at this stage would go on to win, but having seen the fight back twice, you can hardly do that. Aberdeen playing it around easily. Miller. Robertson. Ferguson. No doubt about that. Free kick. You wonder about these tackles from the back alley. One is effective, one is clumsy and doesn't bring anything about. You know, there's sometimes inconsistency in whether should be booking or not. Butcher. Brown. And I've just been handed the official attendance, which is 72,122. It's a remarkable feature, and obviously this game will be watched by eventually an audience of millions around the world. They've had 4 goals and a vastly entertaining match. Not a classic, but the goals have come just when it looked as if one team would get ahead, and that always makes for a good game. Free kick as Charlie Nicholas goes down from that sweeping tackle by Butcher. The Aberdeen physio will be coming on. I think at a stage like this, if you consider Rangers and what they did last season in the cup final, the player they would miss at this stage would be the likes of Durant, who gets into the box very quickly.
Yes, you're looking for someone who's got a touch of skill and ability that the others don't have. And with losing Durant, he's that type of player who can really go from midfield into the box and finish off the moves.
McLeish detectives. Good looking ball too. Defensive work there by Walters. Rangers would, I think, prefer to see him down the other end. It's almost comic cuts across there. Very. And Gary Stevens has looked very wobbly. Very panicky. Now Robertson will try the long one. That's a break, and there was a very good break indeed by Rangers. But the referee saw the elbowing by Bet. They have to be pulled back. He blew the whistle. Oh, well. Free kick the other way. Free kick to Aberdeen. Ali?
Well, he seemed to signal first that it was for Rangers, and then suddenly when Butcher asked him something, he changed his mind. I think the foul was against Bet.
Just the slightest suggestion of hesitancy there again. Robertson, not sure what that is. Drinkle. Strong challenge, and we have exactly 9 minutes left. Here's Walters. Overdid it. Butcher. Walters. McCoist, goal kick. And I think that shout of the referee might get him in trouble. I think he was claiming there was a deflection here. Might be able to see from this angle. No, we couldn't. Goal kick. And Neil Simpson looks to me as if he's struggling a little. There's McCoy's free kick. Yes, he was ducking dangerously there. Ali obviously doesn't agree, but it's a free kick. Which is always extremely dangerous. And Neil Simpson, I'm not sure if he wants to carry on or not. I think there's going to be a substitution. Here's a very strong player coming on, lad from Bellsill. Well, we got a shot of him there, Brian Urban. There he is. Man has scored that equaliser for Aberdeen the day Rangers won the championship. I have great respect for this lad because he used to be the accountant in the bank where I had a meagre amount deposited, and he's a strong lad. Golf. Brown. Well, that's missed by Miller. Now Walters. Brown being pushed way to the side. Oh, and easily beaten. Now the break by Bet. Ferguson will play it safe. It's had a good game for Rangers, Ferguson. He's had that brilliant goal. He's done a lot of useful work in midfield and defensively.
He's possibly the only one in Rangers midfield who's played at all. Wilkins and Cooper have been very, very disappointing. Whereas the Aberdeen midfield of Bet and Connor has been outstanding.
I think when the test is on to Wilkins, though, it may well be that the pace of the game is now beyond him. He's a clever player. No, snatched by Drinkle.
You maybe find if it goes to extra time, that with Simpson not being on the field, but Wilkins will get a lot more room.
But he's got a big man on him now, Brian Evan. That's a push. Free kick to Rangers with just under 5 minutes remaining. Butcher is up and nobody takes it. Ferguson. Goal kick. Did his best to run round the outside again. Very difficult against this extremely well organised Aberdeen defence. 4 minutes left now. Goal. Oh, Brown, taken really on. Here's a great chance, he's missed it, but the chance to win the cup. If ever there was one. Look at this. Terrible play there by Brown. Allowing Ben to go round the blind side of him, bad cover, and look at it. The goalkeeper certainly narrowed the angle, that was technically correct. But Ali, he really ought to have put this away.
Well, if you'd asked me to pick a player to do the same thing with the same ball, who'd you walk round the goalkeeper, I'd have said Ben, and there he doesn't do it. He's the one player you'd have expected to go round the goalkeeper.
That little moment of panic going through his mind, the game's almost finished.
Right, that would have given him man of the match, because he's been playing.
Well, that balances it out to a certain extent. Perhaps a more difficult chance in many ways. Nevertheless, he did get the chance to control himself, bring it down. Oh dear.
Oh, it's just like the other end. If you asked who you would like to be sent through, who would to hit it hard, you'd have picked McCoy.
In a perfect position. Seemed to bounce the wrong way for him. Run there by Ferguson. Here's a chance and a brilliant save. What an ending to this game. 2 minutes left. Superb entertainment. The both teams fighting to the end with a lot of good football. Now this is good goalkeeping. That could have broken anyway. Goff is there, and it's there. Ali McCoy. 3-2 for Rangers, only a couple of minutes left. And that ball bounced agonisingly for Aberdeen. Down to McCoy, then snelled it right through his legs, would you believe? Now can Aberdeen fight back from this? McCoy, who had missed that chance earlier on, sweeping it away. A cluster of red jerseys couldn't stop that. Late pressure by Rangers. I make it now a minute and a half.
Well, you would think that was over now, but you never know in this game.
Well, Aberdeen have proved twice they could come back, except the time is against them. They played so bravely. Here is McCoy. Ferguson takes it beautifully. And here is the Rangers support. I make it about 30 seconds remaining. The Rangers supporters have taken over, but the final whistle is still to go. people to get into the penalty area. Drinkle can't get there. John Hewitt. O'Connor to Robertson. Aberdeen still fighting bravely on. That might be a little bit too much. And is great save. And is pushed away. Oh, they could have put that in. Rangers gripping this game only by the fingertips. Look at the way he left that. That was an appalling error by Butcher. And then it was scrambled. The goalkeeper did extremely well.
Oh.
An incredible ending, and there goes the final whistle. The Skull Cup, for the third year in succession, goes to Ibrox. I doubt very much if any game could have equalled the one last season between this pair, but one has to say, in a different sort of way, that was an utterly superb match. I'm not talking perhaps about the quality of football. Okay, we could maybe criticize it in many ways, but in terms of excitement, fight, courage, and astute management by Graham Souness, for example, acknowledging, I think, his wife, at least I hope it is, the way he was blowing kisses. It's had everything. Ali.
Neither team deserved to lose, and I mean, that last 10 minutes gave us more excitement, and you're seeing a whole season of football. It wasn't greatest football, but the excitement in the goal mouth was tremendous.
And we go through the ritual now of the cup presentation. And both teams, I think, exhausted. The Rangers supporters, of course, will be celebrating. I think you can hardly criticise the way Aberdeen played in this game. The supporters couldn't. I know it's bitterly disappointing for them. Let's not kid ourselves. It always is. Nevertheless, I do think that they deserve the greatest credit. David Dodds has been made the man of the match, Ali.
Yeah, he scored 2 goals, and possibly that's what gave him it. But I felt that Bet of Aberdeen and Fergus the Rangers could have been another 2 that could easily have won it.
And they're a very sympathetic word from the president of the league, Jack Steedman, to Willie Miller as he got the losers medal, the runners-up medal. With Mrs. Steedman and Jim Farry and John Mackenzie, chairman, managing director of Alaba Brewery Company, who are the sponsors. Neil Simpson, who went off near the end. And the Rangers side now prepared to come up and receive the cup. There will be 2 cups presented. Graham Souness congratulating all of his players coming off there. And they're a particularly emotional and affectionate hug for Richard Goff. That is the incredible size of the Rangers support, which has gone round almost 2/3 of the ground. Must be something like 55, 60,000 of them. Now, it is Terry Butcher with the Skull Cup. The second time he has done that. He missed last year's final through suspension. and the actual Scottish League Cup itself. And it's now become the custom to pass on the cups. And now Souness, Graham Souness.
Graham Souness, 3 times at Hampden in the Scott Cup final, 3 wins.
That's a memory now. It's next year's now.
That
was another great advert for football today.
They said that we couldn't compare to last year's final, but this was another epic, wasn't it?
It was an epic. We were a better side to the bill by a long way, I felt. We made some bad defensive mistakes. I'm sure Big Terry will not be happy about the half challenge he made on Charlie Nick for them to get the equaliser in the second equaliser. Overall, we played some really good stuff today. When the game settled down to a game of football, that's all we asked for. When that happens, we played really well.
A very clean game. I think everybody's pleased about that.
Played in a tremendous spirit. I'm delighted for my boys. My boys wanted that today, and nearly the team deserved it today.
Graham Souness, thank you.
Last word. Hope the wee man's watching. It's one for him. Ian Durrant.
Thank you.
And of course, Graham Souness was talking about Ian Durrant, who's been sitting in the house watching this game. And I'm quite sure he'll be absolutely delighted, and now making his preparations to go to Ibrox, where the side will be celebrating. And Terry Butcher now becoming a bit more animated.
I mean, you can just hear the noise. Obviously, the Rangers fans are very pleased. You had a grand game yourself.
Oh, I can't believe it. I was a little bit disappointed with the one I missed. But to get the winner in the last minute there was unbelievable.
Well, you left it late, but they say that Rangers now never finish till the final whistle.
Oh, we never give in. There's a lot of spirit in our team. And for those boys behind that goal and all our supporters, that was for them.
You must have had a little bit of a tremor in your heart when Jim Bett was going down there just before the end.
I couldn't believe it, especially that was right after or before the one I missed, so I thought, here we go. But we hung on and then we scored the goal. And I hope Durante's watching me, man, because that was for you.
Okay, bye.
And Terry Butcher has taken the cup, as we were interviewing there, down to the Rangers' end, and there is the lad, 21 years of age, who scored that amazing goal, the second Rangers goal. Kevin Drinkle, the Englishman who came all the way from Norwich to achieve his first winner's medal in any competition. And Terry Butcher is going all the way down the field. There's Ali McCoist. One of the wittiest men in the game, apart from anything else. And it's a long journey for the Rangers players. There's Ray Wilkins, who won a medal, and Terry Butcher shows you his leg injury hasn't gotten in the way of carrying people on piggybacks. Whoa. First injury of the day. And the players going all the way down. Chris Wood in the background there, the Aberdeen supporters. And I think the Rangers players will be delighted to get into the dressing room now. They have a very hard game coming up on Wednesday. Well, Ali, what do you think?
Well, I must say, it was better than last year, more exciting, really exciting. And I'm quite sure that everyone got their money's worth, whether they're neutral, Aberdeen or Rangers fan.
And here's Terry Butcher once again going down to where the main bulk of the Rangers supporters are. Playing with them now and enjoying every minute of it. Perfect. I was about to say, Ali, Rangers are playing in a very important European game. I think they'll have to maybe sort out one or two things before they go to Cologne.
Well, I don't think Wilkins is... I was watching him running down the field there. He could hardly walk down. He could be carried half the way.
Well, there we are. That's Hampden Park for you. I didn't think we could get something like last season. Well, I've been proved wrong. I suppose all of us suggesting that this would be a rather austere and negative game have been proved entirely wrong. We've had entertainment, we've had the kind of drama that one loves to see associated with football. We've had the disappointments and the tragic disappointments and the elation, and that now is, I suppose, the very best ingredient of all. I would imagine that that cup is going to be full of champagne in the not too distant future. And we can now go back as we hear these victorious songs there from the Rangers supporters who will barely move and budge. We can now go back, and that's a lovely gesture by Butcher with the crippled Rangers supporters there. That's a lovely gesture. And as people trudge their way home after another memorable game, we can say now goodbye from Hampden Park.
In 25 minutes in the Clothes Show, Selina Scott meets the new name behind the Queen's dressmaker. First, here's Rolf Harris with another Cartoon Time.